going on? Today we're talking about the main reasons why you should learn to play push in chromatic mode instead of the in-key mode. So I'm in C major right now. If I put this into in-key mode, let's talk about the first and most obvious reason why you should learn to play push in chromatic mode. So let's say I want to play a major 7 on the 1 and then a major 7 on the 5. So there's my major 7 on the 1. If I go up to the 5, I'm stuck with this dominant 7 chord. I don't have the option to play a major 7 chord. I'm stuck with it. Or let's say I want to play something on the 7th scale degree, like a minor 7 or something like that. If I do the diamond 7th shape on the 7th scale degree, I'm stuck with this B minor 7 flat 5 crunchy kind of thing. Or if I wanted to do just a straight minor chord, I'm stuck with this diminished chord. You're very limited immediately in terms of the flexibility you have of the chord qualities that you can play. So you can see if I switch this into chromatic mode and I play my major 7 on the 1, I could play a major 7 on the 5, I could play a minor 7 on the 7th scale degree, I can do whatever I want. And you can see here, like this minor 7, that note isn't in C major, but I have the flexibility and control to play whatever I want. The second reason why you should learn to play push in chromatic mode is, let's switch back to in key here. When you learn this triangle shape in the in key mode and you move it around, let's say I go from the 1 to the 6. It's the same shape, but they're two different kinds of chords. This is a major chord, this is a minor chord. If you ever want to expand and be able to play more fluently, just like a guitar or a piano, you're going to have to relearn these shapes again. So when I switch over to chromatic mode, you can see there's a major chord, and if I go to the 6 here, there's my minor chord. That's a different shape. This note right there is down a half step for the minor chord versus that being a major chord. Ultimately, if you plan to progress and get better and want to fully express yourself musically playing the push, you're going to need to learn this in chromatic mode. Otherwise, you're going to have to relearn these shapes as you switch over into chromatic mode. Lastly, and I think the most important reason why you should learn to play push in chromatic mode is if you ever plan to jam with other musicians or produce with a band or work with somebody else. I've worked with a lot of guitar players and piano players, and it's very, very rare. Well, I guess it depends on the kind of music you make, but still, it's very rare that you'll be working with a musician playing a chromatic instrument like a piano or a guitar who's going to stick to strictly diatonic notes and diatonic chords. So for example, when you're working in key mode, let's say they say, okay, we're going to go C major, D minor, G, and then they want to go to like a D flat major, or they want to do D flat minor or something. Then you got to sit here and go, oh, okay, well, I'll switch to D flat and I'll do this, and then I'll go back to C and do that. And it's kind of just a mess. When you're working in chromatic mode, you can immediately jump to whatever chord you want to play, just as you would on a guitar or a piano. So if I'm on C major, and maybe I want to go down a half step to B minor 7, and then maybe I want to go to D, and then I want to do this really sweet E minor 9 with this F sharp that's not in C major, easy, you can do that. And that's just an example. You know, you can riff through anything that you want in chromatic mode. So let me show you what I mean. So that's another thing with chromatic mode is you can do things like hammer-ons where you kind of step or just like do those little grace notes from like a half step below like this, right? So you could do. So ultimately, if you plan to ever play with other musicians, collaborate with other people who play piano or play guitar, if you want to have the flexibility and fluidity to play push the same way you would play a guitar or a bass or a piano or any other chromatic instrument, you need to learn chromatic mode. Now, the in-key mode does have its uses. So let's say you want to just riff on some big, long, extended pentatonic scale. So let's put this into in-key. Let's go to major pentatonic, and you could do these long, beautiful runs like this. Right, so the in-key mode isn't complete trash, but in terms of the core foundational laying down chords, collaborating with other musicians, working with vocalists especially. I've sat down to produce with vocalists, and some of them are very particular and very knowledgeable about the kinds of chords they like to sing on. So for example, you could be playing something like a 2-5-1 progression or a 6-5-1 progression, and they might say, hey, go to the minor 4 instead of the major 4. And that's something that's really challenging and clunky to do when you're working in the in-key mode. So let's look at something like that. So there's a 6, let's go to the 5, and let's go to the minor 4, ooh, crunchy, and then to the 1. Nice. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful and insightful as to why you should learn to play push or launchpad or Akai Force or any 4-string layout pad type instrument in chromatic mode. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at MaryTakeUsMusic. I have a new song coming out next week. I'm really looking forward to sharing with you all. And let me know in the comments what kind of videos you'd like to see moving forward. Okay, thanks again for watching. Until next time.